This is how I brainwashed myself to be a millionaire at 20 years old. Growing up in a big family, we didn't have a lot of money. As I got older, I realized that your brain has a specific operating system for money, just like a computer. Mine was programmed for poverty, so I had to hack it. Most people think mindset work is just about positive thinking, but I'm going to show you why the mental programming that I used took me from $20 to my name at 18 years old to building a business that generated over 13 million just 4 years later. So you're probably wondering, what exactly was I doing every day to create this transformation? Well, here is the system. I'm going to break it down into specific practices that made all the difference, starting with my 5 a.m. daily routine. Now, I want to preface by saying I am naturally not a morning person. I love nighttime, but in Islam, we do have to wake up early to pray. So every single morning at 5 a.m., I got up to pray Fajr. Then I read important reminders that I printed and framed on my wall. But I didn't just write generic positive statements. I wrote specific statements that I wanted to see true in my life. The real shift happened when I learned about energy and vibrations. The next part might sound a little bit different from my typical business advice, but trust me, stick with me for a moment. This is what made everything actually click. I learned that everything has energy and vibrations, from the things that you touch, your thoughts, your words, and the people around you. What this means is that if you're literally always thinking and talking about being broke or not having enough money, you are literally vibrating on a frequency of scarcity. I trained my brain to start focusing on what I wanted to grow instead of what I wanted to avoid. Where your attention goes, energy flows, so I had to be so intentional with what I was feeding my mind daily. I also had to learn to act like I was successful before I had any proof that it would work. I started making decisions from the identity of someone that was already wealthy instead of someone who was trying to become wealthy. This meant specific things like investing the little bit of money that I had instead of spending it on material things, walking into that billionaire interview with confidence, and using the failed business ventures that I had as lessons instead of proof that I wasn't ready or meant for success. When I started my Airbnb business, I approached it like I was already someone who had multiple properties, not someone who was lucky to have just started one. The belief had to come first, then the action, then the results, not the other way around.